Hi, my name is Brielle, and today I'm gonna help you learn how to play French horn. I'm so excited that you picked this instrument. I will say it is a little bit tougher than the other brass instruments at your disposal, but if you follow along with me here, hopefully you'll be more put onto the path of success. The first thing we have to do to be successful French horn players is to have one in our hands, and to do that we need to open our case. The first thing you want to do is find a nice even surface, preferably the ground, but it's up here so that you all can see this. And make sure that the latches of your case, which is the little doohickeys that go waddle, waddle, waddle at the side here, make sure they are facing downward, because otherwise your instrument will open and it will be a mess of spaghetti of pipes on the ground, and no one wants that because it's a lot of money. So we're going to open these here, one at a time, nice and gentle like. Then we're going to open our case all the way. Woo, fancy. The next thing you'll want to do is to pick up, the French horn itself. You should probably grab by the bell here, which is a super sturdy spot, and then this really thick pipe over here. Sorry, you can't see that well. The way I look at it is, you wouldn't grab a bowl of spaghetti by the noodles here, right? That's just a lot. No, you'd pick it up by the bowl. And the bowl, I didn't think this metaphor through. And now we have a French horn in our hands. Let's go over how to properly hold it then. Oh, and LOL, I forgot your mouthpiece. Oh, it's also a very important thing to grab out of the case. Now, for those of you following at home, we now have a French horn in our hands. Congratulations, you got through the first hurdle. Pat on the back for yourself. The last thing we have to do to put our instrument together is to grab our little mouthpiece, put it into the hole on top, give it a little twist, then we're good to go. Now, when you're sitting there with the horn in your lap, what you're going to want to do is grab it with your left hand, the one that makes an L when you look at it. Hey, fun fact. And put it on these keys right here. Your pointer, your middle finger, and your ring finger go here. Your thumb can rest if your instrument has one of these here. If not, you could just have it chill out. And then there's a little pinky loop for your finger to go in. So now we have a good grip on this side. And then your right hand will just kind of sit in your bell, and we'll go over how to properly set that up soon. So now that we've got this French horn in our hands with the mouthpiece and everything, we have to figure out how to sit properly so that we can sound the best on it. To do that, we'll start with a really bad posture. So we'll just kind of like loosen up and just kind of, okay, this is our posture right now. Now let's see what's wrong with this. We're gonna start at the bottom. My feet, oh, ignore my unprofessional footwear. My feet should be flat on the floor so we can get the most airflow possible. And then they should also be about shoulder width apart so that they can, you can have a really good balance when you're playing. Then moving up, our butt should be boom, flat against the back of the chair. Don't make it that dramatic or else you might drop your instrument. As well as our back should be right against the back of the chair. This is all going to help us take really good breath. Next thing should be our shoulders should be in a relaxed position the whole time, because if you're like this, I mean, I don't know if you'd want to play a concert like this. Gonna be nice and relaxed. Then our heads will be kind of up. I mean, we wouldn't like talk like this. When we're talking to someone, we'd probably talk like this. When we're holding up our instrument, this is the final part of our posture check. We're going to want to rest the horn about right here on our leg, just so that it's not as much pressure as lifting it up. For our right hand, like I said earlier, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, all in these keys. Thumb on the trigger if you have it, and then your pinky scooped right here. Then your right hand, here, do this with me now. We're gonna wave to the queen, rest in peace, we miss her. And we're gonna pop it into the horn at 4 o'clock on the clock. If you don't know how to read clocks, I'm so sorry, but you'll figure it out. It's also, if you know how to read compasses, but not clocks, it's about southeast on a compass. Hey, that's helpful. So we're cupping our hand, putting it at southeast, 4 o'clock, what have you. And then finally, we want to bring the instrument up to us. We want to have the mouthpiece at our mouth so that we're not like going into the mouthpiece or having to lean anywhere. We want this to be as comfortable as possible. Now, we're ready to make some notes! Now that we have the whole instrument put together and we know how to hold it, it's finally time to not play it yet because we don't know how to breathe properly on this instrument. And breathing is the most important part of playing because without it, you cannot make any noise unless if you're a percussionist, which we're not. We are French horn players. The way that I like to think about breathing is called how-to breathing, and that describes the way your mouth should be shaped when you're breathing to get the most amount of air. When we're breathing in, we'll want the which is the how, and then when we're breathing out, we want the and that will get us a really steady airstream. Now, to get a good how breath, we can't breathe from our shoulders because then there's just not enough air to get a really good sound out of this instrument. We instead have to breathe from somewhere else, our diaphragm. Now, if we focus on keeping our shoulders down here, that should be more than enough to get our diaphragm going instead. And then when we go to, we want a nice, almost laser-like stream to come out of our mouths, kind of like you're blowing out a birthday candle. Thanks, Garrett! So let's try it a few times together. We'll go. Let's try it again. And keeping your shoulders down, one more time. Okay, now I think we're ready to add in our mouthpiece. This will be a little bit different than what we just did because there's going to be resistance. So let's do it one more time, really focusing on keeping our shoulders down, taking a nice deep breath from our diaphragm, and then whoo, shooting it through the little tiny hole in our mouthpiece. I can see you. Let's try it. An important part of horn playing, I forgot to mention, don't puff out your cheeks like I just did because I am a silly little goose. You want to try as much as possible to keep your cheeks flat inside so we can get a nice even airstream. Let's try it again. One more time. Nice. I think now we're ready to figure out how to actually play notes on this thing, hey? Now that we know how to breathe properly on our instrument, it is still not time to play it because we don't know how to make noise on it. Now, unlike woodwind players, we need to do more than just blow into our instruments. We also need to make the vibrations because just blowing air doesn't cut it. We need to do something else to make that air vibrate so it makes noise. What we have to do is have a proper embouchure so that we can make our lips vibrate the sound in here. So what we'll do is say the word empty. Let's say it together. Empty. Cool. Now let's just say the first syllable and a half. Emp. Emp. And you'll want to say it kind of like, you know, fancy. Emp. Emp. And you'll want to really strengthen the corners of your mouth here. Emp. Oh, look at that. Look at that mouth action. Ooh. That's the shape that you'll want in your mouth in order to make a good sound on this. Now with our mouth in the position. I'm so funny. You could put it up to the mouthpiece. You'll want about 70% of your top lip there, then 30% of your bottom lip. I like to put it here, like I'm getting a little drink of water. Then I put it up here, and then I make sound with that You should get that sort of sound. That's us making the air vibrate. Now we can put our mouthpiece in the instrument, check if all our posture is correct, then make our first note. Now that we've gotten our first notes out, that's another hurdle we've overcome. Congratulations, give yourself another pat on the back with the instrument safely in your lap. Any sound that comes out of this horn is a good sound, and it's better than no sound at all, so I'm proud of you for making it this far. If your first sound was around here, let's try and go for a bit of a lower note. So you can do that by thinking, oh, with your mouth to sort of unfirm the corners of your mouth just a little bit and opening your mouth a bit further to get lower down. Now, if your first sound was down there around what I just played, you could try firming up the corners of your mouth a little bit and focusing our airstream just a little bit more and shooting just a little bit more power of air through so that we can reach higher notes. Getting even higher. Now I'm here to give you some general do's and don'ts. We'll start off with the don'ts because it's nicer to end on a positive note. Our first don't is, well, a lot of these don'ts relate to the bell. The bell is a super important part of our playing. The first thing you don't want to do, get over here, is put your fist all the way into the bell because you're not cool enough to do that yet, but you will be. It's a specific horn technique that we get to do, but that's for people who have been playing for a long time. So let's not do that quite yet. The other thing you don't want to do is not put your hand in the bell at all, because it will make us sound very
out of tune.
Let me show the difference between both of those. Here's my hand all the way in. Here's my hand all the way out. Now here's my hand in the proper position. You see, having your hand in the right position makes the horn sound a lot better. But it's important to not go on autopilot when packing away your instrument or even just holding it, because maybe you'll glance at another person's instrument and you'll think, oh, I can hold my instrument with a different hand, and then suddenly it will tumble onto the floor and then you will dent your bell like a lot and there's nothing you can do to fix it without sending it into the repair shop. Yeah, so make sure you're paying attention when you're setting your instrument down and such, otherwise you might affect the quality of your instrument. Now here are some couple positive things for us to remember for us to get the best sound on our instrument. The first thing that's super duper important is playing with a lot of air. We can do that with our breathing. That will help us get the most air through our instruments that we can, and it will make the best sound on our instruments. Another great thing to remember is our posture and how incredibly important it is. Please look past the, yes, come here, cinematographer. Thank you. We gotta, it's very important to remember to keep our posture, feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart, all the way up, butts in the back of chairs, yada yada yada. You can go back and watch it if you really have to. Because if we don't have this, it can be really easy to slouch one way or the other, or play like this, like you're getting into a saxophone solo or something. It's easiest to make our best sounds when we're playing with good posture. Another helpful thing to remember is to hum or sing the notes, or at least think the notes to yourself before you play them. Because if we do that, then we'll have a note that we're aiming for. We can think of the shape that our mouth will be in to make the note. French horn, like I said earlier, is a hard instrument, and that's because there's a lot of different things you can do with the mouthpiece that you can't do on a trumpet or a trombone. There's just so many different partials, is what they're called, getting the notes higher and lower. So it's important to think about and hear the note before you play it. I'm here with my wonderful cinema photographer, Gage Matthews. Say hello.
Hello.
Wow, it's like you can't even tell it's our third take of this. We'll be doing the Accents on Achievement 99th exercise. It's raining, it's pouring. I will be taking the French horn part, and my friend Gage will be taking the clapping part. Now let's hum our first note together. Do you remember it? Da, da. It's probably about there. We'll go this tempo. Now let's just get right into it. 1, 2. Wow, thanks, Gage. My hand is so sweaty. Now, I believe that's everything you'll need to know to get started on your horn journey. Remember, always be proud of where you are musically. You are making an inanimate object make noise, sometimes nice noise, with just your mouth, and that is pretty cool. Anything you do after that is all the more impressive. Now it's time to say goodbye.
It is 11:42 at night.
They don't need to know that.